A search and rescue dog can track a human scent across 50 miles of open terrain, through rivers, through rain, through days-old trails. In the case of Jaryd Atadero, they found nothing, not a single trace. A 3-year-old boy walked around a corner on a Colorado hiking trail and simply ceased to exist. But the disappearance, that's not the part that keeps investigators awake at night. It's what they found 4 years later, and where they found it, that broke every theory they had. October 2nd, 1999. Roosevelt National Forest. Elevation, 8,400 feet. Temperature, dropping below freezing after dark. Jaryd Atadero was 3 years old. He was hiking with his father, Alan, and a group of adults from a Christian singles organization. The trail was moderate, not technical, not remote. The kind of place families go every weekend. Jaryd was running slightly ahead, the way toddlers do, and then he spotted a group of adult hikers further up the path, strangers, and ran toward them. Those hikers were the last people to ever see Jaryd Atadero alive. Their accounts were reviewed by investigators. No charges were ever filed, but their story was never fully corroborated. Alan Atadero turned his back for less than 2 minutes. When he looked up, his son was gone. No sound, no cry, no sign of struggle. Search and rescue arrived within hours. 800 volunteers, helicopters with infrared, bloodhounds from multiple counties, 14 days of active searching. And not one of those dogs, not a single one, picked up a scent trail. We'll come back to why that matters.
All right, team, keep moving, stay alert.
But first,
Base, this is Team 2. We are currently sweeping Sector 4, heavy underbrush.
Over.
here's what survival science tells us about a 3-year-old in those conditions. At 8,400 feet of elevation, nighttime temperatures in October drop to 22 degrees Fahrenheit. That's -5 Celsius, without shelter, without fat reserves, without the physiological ability to generate sustained body heat. The clinical estimate is 12 to 18 hours before hypothermia becomes fatal. The search lasted 14 days. That means they were no longer looking for a survivor after day 2. They were looking for a body, and they couldn't even find that. If an animal had taken him, there would be blood, drag marks, fur trace. If he had fallen into the Big South Fork of the Podra River nearby, his body would appear downstream. Searches there found nothing. If he had wandered off trail, the bloodhounds would have caught it. The case went cold, and it stayed cold for 4 years, until 2 hikers went off trail in 2003 and found something that should not have been where it was. The location alone is enough to break your brain. The clothing was found at 10,400 feet of elevation. That's 2,000 feet above the trail where Jaryd was last seen. Terrain so steep that trained adult hikers use ropes to navigate it. Remember what I said about the bloodhounds finding no scent? This is why it matters. There is no route, none, by which a 3-year-old could have climbed 2,000 feet of vertical through dense alpine brush without leaving a single trace for the dogs to follow. But that's not even the strangest part. Here's what the investigators documented. Jaryd's pants were found inside out, not upside down, not tangled, inside out, as if removed deliberately and placed that way. His jacket was there, and his shoes. His shoes were pristine, no tears, no soil in the tread consistent with off-trail alpine terrain. The shoes of a child who supposedly walked, or was carried, 2,000 feet up a mountain through rock and brush, showed zero signs of contact with that terrain. The county coroner ruled cause of death as undetermined, not accident, not animal attack, undetermined. And here's the open question that researcher David Paulides keeps returning to. Why do so many cases in this cluster follow the same pattern? Elevation gain that defies physics, clothing anomalies, no scent for the dogs. It's either the most coherent series of coincidences in documented wilderness history, or it isn't a coincidence at all. Jaryd Atadero spent years searching for answers. He found remains. He never found answers. He eventually wrote a book about the experience, not a conspiracy manifesto, but a father's attempt to process the unprocessable. The official investigation is closed. The cause of death remains undetermined. The clothing remains unexplained. I've read through the case files, the search and rescue logs, the coroner's report, and I can tell you with confidence, there is no explanation that accounts for all the evidence. Simultaneously, every theory has a hole. So I'll ask you what I always ask. What does your gut say? Not what you can prove, but what do you actually believe happened to Jaryd Atadero? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Next week, we're going into another cluster from the Missing 411 files. Same pattern, different national park. And this time, there were witnesses.